They didn't get the sexy name. They didn't get the big name. They were in the mix for Jack Flaherty.
I know.
But what was the price?
Yeah.
And they were in the mix for some others, but what was the price? They didn't completely jeopardize their future, but still invested in the now.
I wonder if it's enough. I mean, I'm just looking right now as we talk at the American League outlook, we'll call it. And I mean, you know, outside of winning the division, they're 6 games behind the O's. I'm just looking at the wild card for the sake of the conversation here. They're a game out of that final wild card spot right now. Royals have the final wild card spot as we speak. They're playing pretty well right now. Twins are not, and the Yankees are not. So I don't know. We'll see. I'd still look at Seattle. You know, I just wonder. Although they didn't make the big splashy moves, and we bring up Flaherty, right? I just wonder if the moves they did make, and I know you're talking about the future, and I'm cool with that, and I do understand that, and you didn't mortgage the future for the right now, which is likely the right move. I will defer to that. Like, I'll admit that that's the right move. I'm just a guy that just wanted them to swing. And so in my mind, I'm just wondering if it's enough, man, because I'm telling you, with the moves the O's made, with the moves the Mariners made, there are teams in the American League going for it. And I think they're going for it because it's so wide open. And I wanted the Red Sox to do that. The Red Sox did address team needs, and I'm happy with that. But they did not. I feel like someone like a Flaherty is a potential shift of power almost in the American League, and it just didn't happen. Thank God he did not go to an American League team ultimately. But we did see that happen with the O's, with Eflin. I mean, that's a big move. We did leading up to the deadline. We did see the Mariners even leading up to the deadline make some moves. So I just wonder, George, if it's enough.
For a team that I think they're looking at it not just for this season, but seasons to
come. They're
come.
looking big picture.
They did enough, yeah.
Right.
And I think
Which
short term,
I get.
They did enough heavy lifting off the front.
Yes.
To put them in a place like this, where these are guys, and we can see right away Andrew Bailey have an effect and the pitching development they've done here. And you get a guy like Danny Jansen in 7 years of major league experience, an older vet, was loved in that Blue Jays clubhouse. Get some of these vets in to teach these guys how to win.
Leader.
That's what I want to happen now, though. And I do like that they kept looking at the bullpen, They knew they needed help there. I want there to be a playoff run. I want there to be that playoff push by this team. I hope they look at it and they understand they were invested in. You know, you and I have spoken about it again. Like, they're not dumb, the players. If nothing happened, if the clubhouse was the same, they're not dumb. They know where they need to get better. And that would have been discouraging. But they're going to see new faces. They're going to see new life into this bullpen. Some new leadership and some new voices in there.
Sure.
Along with guys coming back like Casas, like Hendricks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And those guys adding juice to the lineup as well and to the clubhouse. And I do see a second half playoff push.
Yeah, that's listen. Sometimes when you get those big names too, like how you laid that out was beautiful in a sense of these are all clubhouse guys.
They got grinders, man.
Yeah, and they're going to fit into the culture you already have. And I think that is a good point because, I mean, for God's sakes, I wanted Vlad Jr. Like, I was playing fantasy baseball. But sometimes when you get big name guys like that and they come into a clubhouse, it can disrupt whatever chemistry you do have, whatever aura you do have as a team, because it's like, whoa, look, we got so-and-so. That's not the case here. Yeah. And you're getting, and you're right, you're getting guys that fit the culture is probably the word I'm looking for. You're getting guys that fit the culture, the Alex Cora, and you have already established as a franchise, and that works. Again, it's not so much a knock on what the Red Sox did or didn't do. It's just I'm left wondering if it will be enough. I don't necessarily feel satisfied with just this team can make a postseason run or this team can get into the playoffs. I look at the American League as winnable. I want this team to say we can go capture this right now and win the American League. Not saying they can't, but that's what I wanted from the trade deadline. I wanted a big swing. I wanted a Jack Flaherty because that sends a message. We are going for it all. It doesn't mean they can't get there. I just don't know from the deadline if that's my takeaway.
Either playing for the now, for the future, and maybe to go out and get a guy like Flaherty, just 28, dominant as hell. it would have been too much of giving up on your future.
Yes.
And they want to rebuild this farm system or revamp it. Are winners, losers? Deadline for you?
Well, I already talked about a winner. I don't know how the Orioles can't be a winner on anyone's list.
They're not on mine.
Listen, you're not paying attention. Eflin with Corbin Burns is ridiculous, and they trade for the lefty Trevor Rogers, starting pitcher, who didn't – his ERA is not great, but he was starting to get hot at the right time. They added other arms to the bullpen. They added some bats. That is a young team that just acquired playoff experience last season, and it didn't go well. They got smoked. So now you're bringing in all these arms for your rotation, which was already decent. I'm telling you, man, I think the O's mean business, and that's exactly what I was talking about. I think they see the American League. Right now they're at the top of it, them and the Guardians, but I think they see it as, no, we're going to the World Series. So let's take some big swings. They did it. To me, they won the trade deadline. I don't even think it's particularly close. I like what the Mariners did too, but the O's really went for it. That rotation means business. They got all veteran dudes. All dudes with playoff experience. Here come the Orioles. I believe in them.
I just went with the best team in baseball getting the best arm out there on the market,
Fair.
Jack Flaherty. So that's why I didn't go Orioles
Can't
on
hate
it. Sub-3 ERA, 94th percentile in whiff. Strikeout percentage, walk percentage. Doesn't let guys get on base point blank, period.
Yeah, bro.
And just 28, but he's been around the block for a long time.
Yeah.
You add that experience to this. You have the two best players in baseball, Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts.
Yep.
They need to get healthy when it comes to the rotation with the Walker Buehler, with the Tyler Glasnow, guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you add Jack Flaherty, that again is reaffirming what they're doing, and that's going all in now. That's a team that needs to go all in right now.
Yeah.
The Red Sox don't need to. The Dodgers do. You need to go. Dave Roberts does for his job.
Yes.
But as long as you have Ohtani and Mookie Betts, you got to give yourself the best chance. I think the Dodgers did that. What about your loser?
Well, loser, I went the Rays, which is ironic because I always bet against the Rays, and I say they're going to be down this year, and then they always still win. Right now, as of we do this podcast, they're just a couple games under 500, and they're just a couple games out of the final wild card spot. Yet, they sold all their pieces. It was a fire sale. So I'm like, well, what are the Rays doing? What's the standard there? You don't win World Series already, so isn't for you the standard just getting to the postseason? And it just seems like they're just blowing it up to me, like they're rebuilding. I don't really get that. The fans already don't go. You already don't win titles. You're relevant. You're in the playoffs. That feels like the standard, and you're not far out of that picture, yet you're selling all your pieces. I don't get it.
I went Yankees. I know they added Jazz Chisholm. That's a good leadoff bat, but they need a pitching.
Yeah.
You have Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. You don't know what you're going to do with Juan Soto
Right.
after this season. You have the two best batters in all of baseball, and you did not go out and improve your pitching. Garrett Cole isn't 100% back.
Right.
Their whole Cortez, Rodon, their whole rotation has been crap. Their bullpen is terrible. You have the two best hitters in baseball, and you didn't do more. It's the New York freaking Yankees. It's good for Red Sox fans. It's good for the AL.
Sure.
I see the Orioles winning the division. I think the Red Sox finish ahead of them in the wild card because this is a Red Sox team that needs to get through this slump right now.
Yeah.
And I think this new energy they put in the clubhouse will help. But for the Yankees to just sit there and not add any pitching, and they got to figure out the Gleyber Torres situation for them too, who's just being toxic in himself, they're in an awful spot.
You have them falling apart and missing the playoffs at all, Yankees, or you still think they get in?
How far up are they on the wild card?
I only ask because right now you have Yankees, Twins, and Royals, and the Sox. We know one game out.
Sox
of now.
and Royals are surging.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe Yankees because I don't believe in the Twins,
Me
but
either.
it's not going to be pretty for the Yankees no matter what.
I think we're going to have, in whatever order, I think we'll have Yankees, Royals, and Red Sox.
I believe that too.
I think the Twins
That's
fall
a fun
out.
wild card.
That's a fun wild card.
Get Bobby Witt Jr. into the playoffs, man. That
Right.
kid's everything.
Yeah.
It's good to have the Royals back in the playoffs
Right.
too.
Facts.
That's a sleeping fan base. And then the Red Sox to be ahead of schedule. We know how it's going to be in the city. It's going to be palpable.
By the way, even if the Yankees are a wild card and they hang on to get in, I still think Cashman and Boone are gone after this year. Because so what? You get it. You make a wild card and then what? Lose to whoever? What difference does it make?
I don't know what their thinking is with Cashman. I don't know how he never leaves. Boone's gone, though. Boone is gone.
They should both be gone, don't you think?
This has been I grew up in Jersey, guys.
Yeah.
I grew up in Jersey. I've been listening to it for my whole life. He hasn't left yet. I don't know. It's like he's a made man.
Fair.
He could be messing around, collecting points from the wrong guy, stepping on other people's corners. It doesn't matter. He doesn't get whacked. I do not know.